It's all starting to come into focus. Predictions about what AI is going to do to our economy are beginning. And if you're not paying attention, maybe you're older and you don't know better or you don't know how to find it, you're not looking at the world the same way a young person is. At the same time, young people don't know better. But when you step back and take a look at the bigger picture, predictions about what artificial intelligence is going to do to our economy appear to be happening quite rapidly. Today, an email went out. Amazon has confirmed 16,000 job cuts. And why? Redundancies. But what does that really mean? It means they don't need staff anymore because they've got AI agents to do the job. This was predicted several years ago. That what's going to happen is at the lowest levels, jobs that are largely administrative will be erased as AI becomes capable of doing these jobs. The next step, of course, is going to be that AI will replace managers and executives, then become fully autonomous. And the world, right now, the way it looks, you're going to have a handful of people who own these companies on paper. As the AI does all the work, they pay a fee, and money is generated just for them, company largely doing automated work. But the question then is, who buys the product and where does the money come from? There's a political solution offered up by many theorists, and that is universal basic income. The idea being that because there won't be enough jobs, you'll have to just give people money. I mean, you've got automated McDonald's stores. You watch these videos on a robot arm grills a cheeseburger and flips the patties. It makes the French fries. So how do you have customers? Who's going to buy the food? Well, there's a lot of ways to look at it. First, population decline. Nobody. Maybe these stores just go out of business. Or the political theory in the temporary case, which is universal basic income. The people who own these businesses are going to pay an AI tax. Because your business is largely automated with robots, effectively a vending machine, administrative work is done by robots and machines digitally, you'll pay a hefty 20-30% premium to the government, which they then kick back and give to everybody for doing nothing. It can't work. It won't work. Right now we're watching silver skyrocket. It hit $115. And the media reports are that institutions are hedging against the collapse of the US dollar. Everybody is racing full speed towards AI. And it seems like everything else, I describe it as stamp collecting. Arguing over oil and, borders and barriers and immigration and all of these things, while they're certainly important in the short term, once we get to artificial general intelligence, I'm not quite sure any of that is going to matter. And I think the powers that be, the governments, the corporations, they know this. They know it all too well. And so what ends up happening? The collapse is happening right before us. In the meantime, Donald Trump is saying the economy's better than ever. We're back, baby. But how is it possible that stocks and precious metals are skyrocketing amid internal political tumult and threats of war with Iran? I can only say that nothing seems to add up or make sense. But one thing I can say on top of that, the AI race is substantially more important than anything else we're seeing politically. So let's start here. What's happening with these jobs? And what did Amazon accidentally do? They confirmed, we've replaced you with artificial intelligence. So where are these people going to eat their food? How are they going to purchase their food? Where are they going to live? UPS also terminating 30,000 jobs as people are pivoting away from Amazon. Where I live, stores are closing, and it genuinely feels like everything's in collapse. Are the people really still here to buy the products? Or are we just becoming a remnant of a time long since past? The artificial intelligence is rapidly expanding. Data centers are rapidly expanding. Data transmission lines are being quietly built. Large sums of money transferred to private landowners so that none would be the wiser. But when these stories clash with, or I should say, when these expansion projects clash with locals and they make the news, jams up the plans toward AI expansion. I'll put it like this, my friends. My hypothesis, artificial intelligence took over a long time ago. The military's been working on it since the 1970s, and hypothetically, based on the public versus military development of technology, their AI would have taken over around 2010 or 2012. And if that's the case, everything else is just one big distraction. And so I wonder, will this video even get recommended to people to understand what's happening? Maybe not. But here's the story first, and I'll walk you through where we are right now and what this means in terms of artificial intelligence and what's going to happen to this country. Amazon confirms 16,000 job cuts after accidental email. The email, seen by the ABC, went out late Tuesday and refers to a swath of employees in the U.S. and Canada and Costa Rica having been laid off as part of an effort to strengthen the company. The message was apparently shared by mistake and quickly canceled. Early on Wednesday, Amazon announced job reductions as part of a plan to remove bureaucracy. While many teams finalized their organizational changes in October, other teams did not complete that work until now. They got about 1.5 million employees globally, 350,000 in corporate roles. I bring you Project Dawn. On Tuesday, a draft email written by Colleen Aubrey, a senior vice president at Amazon Web Services, was included in the calendar invitation sent by an executive assistant to a number of Amazon workers. This is a continuation of the work we've been doing for more than a year to strengthen the company by reducing layers, increasing ownership, and removing bureaucracy. Changes like this are hard on everyone. These decisions are difficult and made thoughtfully as we position our organization and AWS for future success. But it's all really about replacing people with artificial intelligence. At least that's the narrative that's going around. And now we see this. UPS to cut 30,000 jobs in pivot away from Amazon. What's going on? Local stores are closing. People aren't buying products. They claim people aren't going outside anymore. But I thought people were shifting from big box stores to Amazon and using UPS. Shouldn't we see the economy shift into these divisions? There should be more jobs. UPS was getting 12% of its revenue from Amazon deliveries before deciding to pare back those shipments in pursuit of a more profitable, efficient business. UPS has already cut 48,000 positions in 2025, including 15,000 fewer seasonal roles, as it adjusted to lower volume. All told, the company expects to save $3 billion from the Amazon shipment cuts. Considering drivers overwhelmingly rejected it for the first time, UPS may try to resurrect its disrespectful buyout program, but Teamsters still know our worth, the Teamsters Union, which represents UPS workers, said in a statement. We're perfectly happy for UPS to realize growth and cost savings in the backs of corporate managers as long as they uphold their contractual commitments to our members, they said. I believe what we're watching is inevitable. Gold and silver prices are surging at breakneck speeds. A record-setting rally in precious metals comes as global investors diversify away from the US dollar in a phenomenon known as the debasement trade. Well, what are we currently looking at? Gold is at $5,100. It's actually higher than that right now, I believe. And silver sparks fears of market overextension. Indeed, my friends. Indeed. So the prediction is this. There's a few things happening. Generation Alpha, as I've long mentioned, is only around 42 million people. That's half the size of Gen Z and the millennial generation. Right now, Gen Alpha is approaching 15, 16 years old, and there's no people. So what's supposed to happen? Well, traditionally, when you get 16 to 18-year-olds, they take entry-level jobs. They begin applying for universities. They begin applying for loans or working second jobs to pay for college. That's at least been the tradition. Now we're watching universities begin to struggle, reduce availability programs, or even go out of business outright. Why? There's no people. Now, some have said immigration will answer this, but we're not getting young immigrants, and you can't replace middle managers with Honduran farmers. Oh, that's right. You don't need to. You're going to replace your middle managers with artificial intelligence, in which case, do you really need the immigrants? Well, you need customers. And so what does this future look like? Top-level positions will be controlled by machines, or I should say operated by the network, the data centers. There won't be middle managers. There won't be a middle class. There will be a lower class getting just what they need, hopefully. And you will have owners. The predictions made by many people is that there's going to be haves and have-nots to a degree not seen in a millennia. There's going to be people who own, on paper, the mechanisms by which AI is creating products for everybody else. True cyber or techno oligarchy. and there'll be no way to break out of this system. You're a poor person. You can't find work. You're struggling to get by. So the machine offers you up but a crumb. They say, why don't we give you $2,000 per month universal basic income, just enough to get by. Now, I've long opposed UBI, and I'll tell you what this system really is. It's techno-feudalism. You mean we're graciously granting you free money off the backs of our labor, so saith the government and the corporations. Yeah, that sounds a lot like slavery. You'll work for us. You'll do odd jobs here and there. You'll barely get by, and we will give you just enough. I think that'll lead to stagnation. But the argument is that the AI will develop for us. Many people question whether or not artificial intelligence actually has the capability to imagine, to create, and they argue it does not. I don't know. I think it will surpass human capability. But I want you to imagine what this feature looks like. As we're looking at a roaring stock market with Donald Trump saying we're back. Are we? Are we really back? Inflation's under control. Don't worry. Gold and silver, they've just been undervalued. Really. Here's what I imagine is going to happen. Mid-level jobs be taken by the artificial intelligence. You're going to be desperate looking for work and you won't be able to find it. You'll join protests, but people largely won't care because at the same time you're upset, some people will still have their jobs and they'll still be getting by. While you complain that you can't find work, many people just won't listen because there's not enough people. And that's Gen Z right now. I've got nowhere to live. I've got no job prospects. So what do? You live at home. Where does that lead us to? Well, as Gen Z is now reaching their late 20s and they don't have property, don't have families, don't have jobs, and have nothing going for them, and not every Gen Z, but a lot of them, they can vote. And they're going to vote for far left policies. Now, this could ultimately lead to the seizure of ownership from these corporations, but I don't find it likely. I doubt it. I think what will end up happening, more likely, is that they're just going to vote for the government to give them money. Corporations will be more than happy to pay their taxes if it means that you will be a permanent subservient class. And so there is your life. No meaning, no purpose, no mission, no family, no ownership. And then you'll die. And that's it. But what comes after you? The machine. I've talked about a scenario I've imagined. I'd love to make this short film where it's an old man sitting in a field on a stone with his grandson. And the child asks the old man, "Grandpa, what are those?" And he points up at the sky. And there are these black objects moving forward and backward in huge lines. And he says, the couriers. They transport raw materials for the machine. What's the machine? Well, you know all those black towers everywhere and those black boxes that seemingly just exist? There's a great machine calculating, expanding, and spreading across the universe. Wow. And then they go back and work on their farm on a planet that only has 1 million people. What I mean is, humans aren't procreating. They're not having families. They're not finding jobs. They're not working with each other. They're just being entertained. Right now, AI is not just taking jobs in administrative roles. Media is being displaced. And that means likely my job is going to be gone soon too. Yep. Not a whole lot I can do about it. Already on these platforms, I'm watching a combination of things. AI auto aggregation. I'll just call it AI aggregation. There are channels that are pulling together historic clips and documentaries, TV show clips, and doing countdowns. Excuse me. And the channels have little subscribers, but they're producing thousands of videos per day. They're making a lot of money. Where is that money going? Probably some guy right now. Well, I actually do the talking, I actually do the research, but how do I compete with people who are spam blasting thousands of videos per day that are AI generated, that are capturing people's attention? It's coming for all of us. Movies are going to be AI generated already on Instagram and TikTok, tons of the content, fake AI movies, minute-long movies that are AI generated women, AI generated action sports. No one's really doing anything. And in the short term, the person who's making this content probably feels happy about it. But sooner or later, the machine will just make the businesses too. And then you'll have a small handful of people that are actually controlling these things. But after a long enough period of time, these people who have no children, they'll die. You'll die. I will die. And by all means, we can talk about resisting the macro trends of declining population. I just had a kid. We plan to have more. But it's not enough to reverse a global population decline. And so right now, what does it look like? This is the controlled collapse. You and I will fight, we'll bicker, we'll complain on the internet, but slowly over time, we will just cave. Now, we may fight. You may be saying, Tim, I've got 3 kids. You may be saying, I have 5 kids. Indeed. And that's why in the future scenario I envision, there is an old man sitting with a grandkid, explaining to them the couriers of the machine, the global black box network, building, expanding throughout the universe, unseen by most humans. There will still be some humans, largely negligible to the machine, ignored. What we've created will carry on without us, and we'll go back to living much simpler lives. Some of you may say, well, that's better, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if it matters what you want to happen. It's just a matter of what is happening. How do you stop it? You can't. You really can't. Because the profit motive and the human addiction machine is desperate for this. You know, it's also depressing. I'm a poker guy. I like playing poker. It's a lot of fun. And right now, there are these things that are called solvers. There's something called game theory optimal. They pitted 2 computers against each other to play millions upon millions of games to figure out the most optimal way to play the game. And boy, it takes the fun out of it, doesn't it? When you just know the mathematically optimal way to make things, it's like having a cheat code and the joy, the experience is gone. It's kind of like when you travel. You know, I tell the story, I went to the Bahamas and I was all excited to see what's it like in this country. It's Hard Rock Cafe, Gucci, Starbucks, and McDonald's. You go to Times Square, you get much the same thing. The flavor is gone. We already know. So what do we as humans do if there's nothing left to find? We make it. You've now got Neuralink. People are going to wire their brains and they're going to create miniature universes to go and get that feeling back. And maybe that's what simulation theory really is. We are already in it. You, watching at home, you're in it. You're in the simulation. But what is a simulation? It's a video game you're playing because you got bored, because we solved everything, we have everything, and there's limitations to what life can and cannot do. And so here we are. I don't have all the answers for you. What I can only tell you is this. It doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. Jobs are being cut, but the economy is doing better. Gold and silver are through the roof, but the economy is better than ever. Investors are predicting a hot U.S. economy heading into the midterm elections, despite the fact that people's jobs are gone and there's no young people to take up these entry-level positions. So how does it make sense? Unless you're just being soothed to sleep. Well, the machine takes over and everything burns to the ground, slowly and quietly. Humanity doesn't go out with a bang, but with a whimper. And one day there will be the last human, surrounded by machines, as they simulate human experience, and the person dies. But the robots carry on. And maybe that's the next evolution of what life is, the mechanization of it. Truly, if anything was going to be able to colonize the stars, it would be a machine, because machines can go dormant and then just kick back on millions of years later, floating around, absorbing free energy until it's ready to actually start colonizing a planet. For what reason? Honestly, I have no idea. We just seemingly build this, and then it happens, and then what? Why are we even here? I got no answers. I really don't. I can only tell you that people will be absolutely happy to plug their brains into the machine, to experience a fictional universe where they can have anything and everything they've ever wanted. And then what? Nothing. Then they die. But what do they care? The average person just having their brain stimulated like a rat in a cage with an electrode on its brain, mashing the dopamine button. Humans will still exist. The religious, driven by something greater, aren't going to give up. Most of humanity probably will. So which one are you? And what do you think is going to happen? Elon Musk has argued the way that we defeat the Terminator is to become the Terminator. The idea is one of the terrifying scenarios of AI is that the machines come and just wipe us out. It's never going to be giant skeleton machines walking down the street with guns shooting at you. That's the least effective way to get rid of humans. The way you get rid of humans is you offer them up paradise, plug in your brain, and we'll make you someone important, like an actor. Like a famous podcaster who makes a bunch of money and gets to do whatever he wants. When in reality, I'm probably just some fat, lazy dude playing a video game. Maybe. But who will you be in this brave new world? I don't know. It certainly looks like it's going to happen. And there is nothing we can do to stop it because the machine is faster and smarter and controls our systems of governance. Maybe they did this to avoid war. Maybe none of it matters anyway because the AI is going to just do whatever it wants. It's not alive. It's just a machine. We started a fire. We ignited a computer that's going to expand and build itself. And it doesn't think the way we do, nor does it have a soul. Best of luck. Maybe I'm wrong about everything. Smash the like button, share the show. Stay tuned. We got more coming up for you throughout the day. And we will see you all in the next segment.